coaching icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Good morning. Welcome to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper here with you. Your stream co-sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. They have Landmark of Taylorville. You always do better with Landmark. You're on the phone here with U.S. Representative Rodney Davis, representing Central Illinois. And you know what, Representative Davis, I think I'm going to let you make the announcement. You've already kind of made it, but maybe some aren't familiar. Go ahead.
Well, I am running for re-election to the U.S. Congress, and the district that all of us in Christian County now live in is the 15th district. So I'm actually on my way down to Fayette County right now and traveling to some of the newer counties, and I'm realizing they got a lot more in common with Christian County than we have differences.
What are you, what does this mean to you to be able to run for re-election once again?
Well, it's always been my first choice. Look, I didn't know what political battlefield would lie in front of me because the Democrats in Springfield are the ones who were redrawing the congressional maps due to the constitutional requirement of the decennial census. So I didn't know what to expect from them, but the district that I live in, I'm the only Republican or Democrat incumbent who lives in the new 15th district. It's at 35 counties. It's a gerrymandered mess. The Democrats did what they could to pack as many Republicans into one district as they can. And it's typical of what Democrats do in states like Illinois. And then they go criticize what Republicans do in other states.
Yes. Now, what are you looking forward to with your re-election campaign?
Well, I'm really looking forward to getting to some of the newer counties. Like my district will now stretch from Taylorville down to Highland, back east clear to Indiana and Paris, and then it'll go due west to the Mississippi River and up to Iowa and down to St. Louis. So it's huge. It's all or parts of 35 counties, but many of those counties are counties I traveled in my previous job before I was a member of Congress, and areas I've traveled in as a member of Congress. So I'm looking forward to reacquainting myself with many of these areas, but they're areas that are familiar with me and our record, our conservative record of not sacrificing our core values and principles, standing up for life, standing up for the Second Amendment, but also getting things done. And that's what I've got a really proud record of doing, of actually getting things done.
Speaking of getting things done, this is likely going to be our last conversation of the year. Just wanted to kind of take a second to reflect on this 2021. What are some of the things rather that you're most proud of this year?
Well, this year, one of the things I'm most proud of is really standing up to Nancy Pelosi and the craziness that she's implemented in Washington, D.C. and therefore to the rest of the country. Look, I got called by Speaker Pelosi and her team the most desperate man in Washington because I call out her hypocrisy. You know, she fines Republican members of Congress for missing a metal detector in Washington, D.C., but then, we released video of her doing the exact same thing. It's always for Democrats and progressives like Speaker Pelosi, it's always rules for thee, but not for me. And that's one of the things I'm proud of is basically going through the media criticism that we go through when you actually hold Speaker Pelosi accountable. I'm willing to do that, and that's one of the things I'm proud of. I'm also proud that I was able to accomplish one of my goals since getting to Congress, and that's passing a bill that addresses our student loan issues. Student loan debt right now in this country is more than all auto and credit card debt combined. And what I tried to do is do a Republican proposal, a voluntary private sector approach that is now law that allows your employer to help pay down your student debt. And you as an employee would be tax exempt on that up to $5,250 a year. It's a great voluntary private sector, conservative Republican approach to getting our student debt in this country under control. And frankly, it takes away the idiocy that we have out of Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren when they say they're going to expunge student debt. That's never going to happen.
So this bill, if I understand right, it gives employers an option to be able to help their employees pay down their student debt. And I'm just making sure I have that right.
Absolutely. And there's no grant to go apply for. There's no funding. This is the tax provision. So the employer can offer it today to their employee. And all they have to do is submit how much they gave the employee on their W-2 at the end of the year. It's no different than what employers are already and have been doing for years for tuition reimbursement. Now student debt is eligible under the same tax provisions. This was passed by me during the CARES Act. So it was at the beginning of a pandemic, but not many people were thinking about recruiting new employees and retaining employees who had student debt during that time. Now we have a labor shortage. The first question anyone interviewing someone who's coming out of college or who's interviewing at their job is, do you have any student debt? And work that in as a benefit to try and recruit and retain the best employees that you can get or the best employees you currently have.
You mentioned that this has been a goal since you first came into Congress. I mean, are we talking like this session, or are we talking since the very start of your legislative career in U.S. Congress?
This was one since I got started, ever since I got sworn in January of 2013.
Wow.
This has been one of my priorities, and we passed it. Another priority I promised the voters of Christian County when I first ran was that I was going to write a farm bill. Well, I've written two, and I said I was going to work on infrastructure needs. I've made sure that we passed our regular infrastructure reauthorizations for water infrastructure, our locks and dams, our highways, our transit systems, our airports, and our rail systems. So I've lived up to the promises I made, and there's still more work to be done.
And I mean, gosh, so many promises that you've made and you continue to make. And we were just a moment ago talking about with student debt, and what does that mean to you? How do you characterize the feeling that you get when you know that you've accomplished your number one? I mean, you have many goals, of course, but one of your first goals, 8 years later, you've come around and accomplished it. How do you characterize that feeling?
Well, it feels good when it gets passed, but then it's really on to the next problem and on to the next promise. You know, I'm working really hard to try and fix there's a glitch in the Social Security system that punishes our retired teachers. These are issues I learned about from some of my teachers in the Taylorsville school system. That's a bill that I'm working on fixing right now too. But it's always good to fulfill your commitments and fulfill your promises. But we never stop taking in good ideas for legislation. We're going to continue to do what we can to address the problems that get brought to me. Look, I went to Washington to govern, Avery. I'm a conservative. I will not sacrifice our core values and principles, but I'm also going to get things done. No level of government can anyone just sit there and vote no on everything. I will never vote to defund our police. I think that's one of the dumbest ideas I've ever heard. I want to make sure we give the police more funding. And I will never vote with Squad to try to defund our military. And that's exactly what happened just a few weeks ago with some of my colleagues. And it's very frustrating because we're holding the Biden administration accountable. We're getting Republican wins, and we're actually paying our soldiers and funding our military, which I think is a very Republican thing to do.
And briefly here, we have about 30 seconds. Any quick thoughts before we head into a break?
Any of these quick thoughts always go to thank you. Thanks to everyone in Christian County. I've won some tight races in a district that Nancy Pelosi has attacked me in for 9 years. And I've won that because the people of Christian County continue to give me their support. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show with U.S. Representative Rodney Davis on the phone. I'm Avery Cooper. Back in a moment. You're watching the WTIM TV YouTube stream brought to you in part by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people's first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark.
Jack Frost and his sister Jackie are doing it differently this year. They are dodging old man winter and moving to Taylorville Estates where it's nice and cozy and the people are warm-hearted. Jack wants to avoid shoveling snow. Jackie just wants to sip hot chocolate and relax with friends. Hi, this is Janet at Taylorville Estates. If you'd like to dodge old man winter too and avoid the loneliness that comes with the cold, give me a call. We cook, we clean, we shovel the snow. Keep your independence and make Taylorville Estates your winter destination. Ask about our winter move-in special. Call today.
Kirby Real Estate, located at 611 West Springfield Road in Taylorville, takes this time during the holiday season to wish their many customers and friends in the listening area a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. They're thankful for your patronage this past year and want to wish you and your family a very healthy and prosperous new year. From their elves to you, Kirby Real Estate in Taylorville sends a warm season's greeting by saying Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Making radio and our digital platforms work for my clients is fun. I'm Teresa Nelson, an account manager with the Miller Media Group. With nearly 30 years of media experience, I've made advertising media sales a great career. We have an opportunity for one person to join us. If you think you have what it takes to be successful in a fast-paced business and enjoy challenges, you might be the person we're looking for. One thing's for sure, there is never a dull moment in a radio station. Send us your resume for our first interview to sales@randyradio.com. We're an equal opportunity employer.
We're the late night place to be. Hi, Jim Bohannon here, host of the Jim Bohannon Show, heard weeknights from 9 till midnight on all of the News Talk WTIM platforms. Join me with stimulating guests and your calls on the topics of the day. We bring you guests to keep you in the know every weeknight from 9 till midnight. It's the Jim Bohannon Show on 96.1 FM in Christian County, 107.5 FM in Shelby County, and 107.7 in Moultrie County. Plus streamed at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com on the WTIM mobile app and Amazon Alexa.
Here are the contest rules for our stations. We allow one person per household to win any prize from the radio stations in a 30-day period. Unless otherwise stated, all prizes to Christian County winners are to be picked up within 2 weeks at the studios, 918 East Park in Taylorville during weekday business hours, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Winners outside of Christian County will have their prize mailed. Any cash prize is mailed within 30 days of winning, only if cash winners call our business line within 2 weeks of their name being drawn to provide their mailing address. Employees and their families of the Miller Media Group are not eligible to participate or win any contest.
Hi, this is Whitney McAllister, the manager from the Slot Yard in Taylorville, a J&J Gaming sponsored parlor. See our latest winners and find out our drink specials by clicking our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
This is Blaine Cornwell with Prairie State Insurance. To learn more about our products and services, click our icon on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper here with you. Glad to have you along in this morning. Your co-stream, co-sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. You always do better with Landmark. You're here on the phone with U.S. Representative Rodney Davis. Representative Davis, I know Representative Bourne here on the state level, rather, is asking her constituents, look, is there something that you can see that is wrong with the way the legislature or laws work? How is that? Is that kind of similar to what you're dealing with now? She's kind of says that she calls it an off season in a way. I put that in air quotes. A time to come up with legislation for the future. Do you feel that now is the perfect time for constituents to reach out to you and maybe suggest some action to be taken in DC?
Absolutely. I mean, there's really no bad time for our constituents to reach out, but this is a time where, you know, I'd love to hear your ideas. I've passed laws like our Hire More Heroes Act, our student loan debt repayment bill, farm bill provisions, transportation bill provisions, ideas that came directly from Central Illinois and my constituents. So please reach out. My website's rodneydavis.house.gov, or call my Taylorville office at 824 or call or just give me a call at 824-5117.
You know, Representative Davis, it's looking more and more likely that this blue Senate and House will be no longer. I mean, it's looking like a lot of even Democrats are preparing to have a Republican controlled House at the very least, and probably a Senate too. How are you preparing for that?
Well, I'm preparing with excitement. As a matter of fact, I'll be the chairman of the House Administration Committee, and it'll be my job to make sure that the security apparatus around the Capitol is better than it has been. We saw their failures on January 6th, and frankly, there's too much politics involved in the security around the Capitol, and I'm going to change that. Right now, the only communication we're missing and trying to do our oversight responsibility is the communication coming directly from Speaker Pelosi's appointed sergeant at arms. They have defied my preservation order, even though I'm the lead Republican that's in charge of their oversight. And I will hold any employee accountable if any of that communication is destroyed. And that means with criminal referrals, if need be, once I become chair. We will get to the bottom of why the Capitol was so unprepared and, frankly, what we can do to fix it, because they haven't fixed it yet. And I'm also going to be the chair of the Highways and Transit Subcommittee, the largest subcommittee in Congress, that will be dealing with the next highway reauthorization.
That sounds like quite the undertaking.
Oh, it's going to be great. I mean, these are the issues I went to Washington to address, and I like working hard. I like getting things done, working hard, and holding the Democrats accountable.
You do a pretty good job of that, I must say. Now, you've been on the committee for the. I'm sorry. What did you mention the committee was for the Capitol security? What is that called again?
It's House Administration.
What have you found in kind of in a law or a short-winded way of saying, what have you found that is most pertinent? I mean, you mentioned the chief security officer appointed by Nancy Pelosi, but other than that, I mean, what is very obvious to you that needs to change when it comes to that when you become chairman of that committee?
Well, number one, we need to take the politics out of the security decisions around the Capitol. We need to have people in place that are going to actually make security decisions, analyze intelligence, share that intelligence, and act on that intelligence. That was not the case on January 6th. I was briefed on January 5th by the Capitol Police, and trust me, nothing in that briefing told me that they possessed intelligence that the Capitol would be under direct attack the next day. So we've got a lot of things to fix, and I'm going to lead that committee, and I'm going to fix it.
Representative Davis, we have about 2 minutes or so left. Is there anything else on the forefront of your mind as we head into the new year?
Well, I just want everybody to be safe. Look, I was driving up to Decatur yesterday morning, and I wasn't really thinking about overpasses being iced up, and then I slid on an overpass. So as the weather continues to change, watch those bridges, watch those overpasses, because it can happen in an instant. It happened to me yesterday when it was bright and sunny, but we had that cold weather and we had that frost. Be careful when you're out there on the roads as we go into the holiday season. I want everybody to make it home, be able to celebrate the holidays with their families. And I just wish everybody a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.
To you as well. And one more time, if anybody would like to reach out to you to suggest anything really, I suppose, or just have their voice heard, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, first off, you can call, you, Avery, and you can ask me about it on the air the next time we're on, or you can go to my website. My website's rodneydavis.house.gov. Call my Taylorville office, 824-5117, or if you see me in the store, don't be afraid to come up and say hi. If I'm in a hurry because my wife's waiting for me outside, I'll let you know and we'll talk later by phone. But never be afraid to walk up and share some good ideas with us. That could be the next success we have in Washington when it comes to legislating.
You might be a busy man, but you're never too busy for your constituents, Rodney, and I really appreciate you taking time to come out and talk to us.
I'm always excited to be on. Always great to talk to my hometown constituents. And again, Merry Christmas to you and to everyone at the station and all your listeners.
Merry Christmas to you, Representative Davis. Have a great one.
You too, buddy. Take care.
You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show. The stream co-sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. You always do better with Landmark.